Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rented Space. My name is Lindsay, and thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to be planting up one of my new garden beds that I've got from Aldi, and I'm using my homemade seed tape. What I did was inside I just got my seed tape, wrapped it around a recycled wooden spoon or fork, and then I wrote down today's date and also what I've got planted. So first thing I'm going to do is have a look what I would like in the garden bed. Now I do have a few things in the basket because I have a couple of garden beds that will need planting out over the next couple of weeks. So I sort of was preempting. But I am wanting to do a mixture of, in this bed particularly, dahlias, lavender, broccoli, onions and carrots. Now the reason why I'm going to throw the onions in there is I will actually use the onions to kind of keep the predators away. So bugs, insects, also though the kangaroos, the rabbits as well, because, they all like to get in and have a bit of a munch. So I'm going to use the smell of the onions to help deter them. And then I'm putting in the dahlias and the lavenders because I do want to actually get some flowers in there so that I'm also attracting the pollinators. Okay, so I will be, first of all, working out roughly where I want them, in what order and how I'm going to plant the bed up. I'm kind of umming and ahhing if I want to do the seed tape lengthways or widthways. Originally, I was going to do lengthways, so I did my seed tape to the length of the garden beds. But I'm thinking for the lavender and the dahlias, I want to do them widthways at the ends of the rows, just as being on the edges, to sort of once again maybe attract the bugs rather than on my veggies, but also so that the pollinators get the flowers and come on in. Okay, now I'm looking at what I've picked and I think I'm pretty happy with what I've got. Of course, we add and take away 100 times before we get it the way we want it. The reason why I am doing it at the moment with a voiceover is my microphones did break. So you can see I've got both of them on there and neither of them seemed to want to pick up for me to actually be able to hear. So I've had to wait. I ordered new ones. The first ones went missing and they resent more out and I finally have received them. Now here I am showing you my seed tape and putting it down. Now what I am going to do is I will go through and add the stake / tag of what each item is that I'm planting. And I'm going to quickly do it here without you really being able to see it. But I will go in a minute and film what it looks like from the end. So you can sort of see from the top how that looks once I've got them where I want them. Now, this is back in May and it has taken me a little bit to get videos back out and going, waiting for these new microphones. So I do apologise for the delay in my videos. Now, here you can see from a different angle and I've been laying them out and if it was that one was a bit long, so I've just taken a seed off from the end there and made it so that it fits without touching the flowers that I've put at the ends there. Now at the very back end, where I'm just doing now, that's the lavender that I put in. And at the front end, which you can't actually see, is where the dahlias are. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing the dahlias now. As you can see with the seed tape, it is kind of being blown around a little bit. Nothing major. It just took me a few times to sort of tidy them up. So all I'm going to do now is go and get some soil, and I have got a really fine soil that I have sort of got ready by sifting out the larger bits, and I'm just sort of sifting over the top. I will sift over the top, sorry. So at the moment what I'm doing is just trying to get a little bit of soil to hold each one down until I get that soil, just because, like you could see, they did keep blowing around. So here I go now. And yes, like you can see, I'm just sort of sprinkling that soil over the top. Now, being that some of these, well, most of these seeds actually are quite fine. They're carrots and onions and leeks. They're so small, the seeds, which is another reason I wanted to try seed tape. Now, this is my first season, actually using seed tape. I know about seed tape. I fully understand seed tape, but I refuse to pay 3 and 4 times the amount for seed tape than what I can for just plain seeds. So even though I've understood seed tape can actually help you with the separation and less thinning out of seeds, I just haven't used it, to be honest. So I finally decided this year, now that I've got more garden beds, that I need to be a little bit more, I guess, smarter with how I'm planting my seeds. So I decided this year that I would make my own seed tape just using toilet paper, which I do actually have a video. So if you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. And then I'm just proceeding to cover them up at the moment. And then I will go in and water those seedlings. Okay, so I'm just now getting the water and I'm going to water in all my seeds. So I'm making sure that I'm keeping the spray fairly high up. So I don't want a large intake on those little seeds, because if it's too powerful, it will disturb them. So I'm just going over, giving the garden bed a good soak here. And then from here, I will be going back and putting a fine layer of mulch over the top. And then once I've done the fine layer of mulch, I will re-water again. So I'm just, like I said, I'm going through, making sure that it's all nice and watered. Seeds, if they dry out, they won't germinate. So you have to ensure that they've had a good drink and then continue watering them at least 1 to 2 times a day, depending on how hot or dry your area is. So being that we are actually in winter, I'm not having to soak them like multiple times a day, but I am giving them a very good drink at least once a day. And any of the warmer days, I am going and just giving them a second drink as well. Now, as you can see, I'm just using some sugarcane mulch here, and I'm just giving a light sprinkle. I'm not putting it on very thick because, again, I need the seeds to be able to get through, but at the same time, that mulch will also help to keep those seeds nice and damp so that they're not soggy, but they don't dry out either. Now, this is obviously the first year for all of these garden beds, so even though I'm getting soil in, no soil at the moment is decent soil. So I'm buying the best soil I can. I'm also putting manure in at the bottom, and I am layering it, but I am not sure exactly how well these garden beds will do this year, being that it is their first year and I didn't have a lot of homemade compost because I had already topped up all my previous garden beds with all the compost that I already had made. So I will be stepping up my compost making this year, and I have got a worm farm, and I will be getting new worms for them shortly. So now here I am just re-watering after I've mulched, giving the garden a really good drink and making sure that there's no large clumps in any one particular spot. I'm trying to make sure that it is well spread out, that mulch. One of my brand new garden beds with seeds in it. Now, I am trialling seed tape this year. I haven't used it before, as my previous video, or one of my previous videos. And the reason for that is I'm cheap, and it's normally 2-3 times more expensive than just buying the seeds and planting them myself. And I don't know why I've never thought, even though I know about seed tape and how to make it, I don't know why I've never thought to make my own before. But this, like I said, is one of 8 new beds that I got from from Aldi, and they were only $25 each. So, you know, for $200 I got 8 garden beds. And now I'm just trying to get the soil. Sorry, my camera got a bit lopsided. So now I'm just trying to get soil into each of them, which I have explained the setup of these garden beds in a previous video also. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this quick video today. And I hope that everyone is going well with everything going on. And like I said, I've got 2 lots of onions in here, 2 different types of carrots. I've got some leeks, I have some baby broccoli, I have some lavender, and I have some dahlias in here. So nice mix, and the flowers obviously help the pollinators come. The onions keep the bugs away from the carrots and the broccoli. And yeah, the leek will do the same because it is kind of from the onion family also. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a great day and happy gardening. See you next time. Bye.